was on the call of yesterday's Liberty Fever game and joins us now on SportsCenter alongside her dogs in the background. Apparently, they want to be in the interview as well. 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists for Caitlin Clark. This is after missing 5 games with a quad. What stood out most about Caitlin's performance yesterday?
What stood out most to me, Amina, was that Caitlin Clark, even being out for those 3 weeks, did something on the basketball court that I've never seen a player do in the WNBA, and that was that stretch that you were just talking about, that 38-second stretch where she came down and hit not just 3 threes, but 3 bomb threes.
Rebecca Lobo just dropped a truth bomb so big, it made Caitlin Clark's jump shot flinch. After the Liberty game, Lobo didn't just go off. She detonated, leaving fans wondering if Clark's hype train just hit a red light. What did she say? Why now? And is this the beginning of WNBA drama? Levels the Kardashians would envy. Buckle up, because what Lobo exposed will have everyone picking sides like it's Game 7. Let's dive into the tea tsunami.
Caitlin Clark. The thing that impresses me most about her is her ability to step up in big moments. When the bright lights are on, Caitlin Clark is also on. She went off last night for 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 3-pointers. Now, you guys, she had been out for over 2 weeks with a quad injury, and some were wondering if she was going to have minutes restrictions, how much she was going to be playing, if she was going to be up to full speed, and she clearly was. There was a point during the game where she had 3 3-pointers in 38 seconds, and these weren't just regular old 3-pointers. These were her signature logo threes from feet behind the 3.
So now, finally, after Caitlin Clark has basically turned every court into her personal highlight reel, ESPN decided to wake up from its months-long nap. Like a student who forgot the project was due today, they showed up, coffee breath and all, trying to act like they were on board the whole time. Suddenly, she's not just a rookie anymore. Now, she's the reincarnation of Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and a little bit of Steph Curry with a side of disrespect-fueled vengeance.
But today, we saw Caitlin have an unbelievable half. And a decent second half, in my opinion. Look, 6 assists. 6 assists. Again, did turn the ball over a little bit, which wasn't the greatest half, but 7.6 assists, 4 boards is not a bad half. Like, that's 14-12 if she was on for that for the whole time. That's actually that's not bad at all, to be honest. That's really not bad.
It took Clark dropping dimes, hitting logo threes, and dragging an entire franchise on her back like she's Frodo carrying the One Ring through Mordor before ESPN gave her more than 20 seconds at the end of a segment squeezed between pickleball updates and a LeBron beard analysis. And even then, you could practically see the internal conflict in the studio, like they wanted to give her props, but were still recovering from their months of MVP blackout mode.
The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid. And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years. She's just not built for the physicality of this league. Yeah, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
Suddenly, they're shocked she's good. Shocked, as if she didn't score 40 points a game in college while being double-teamed, triple-teamed, and occasionally harassed by mascots. But now that the bandwagon is finally in motion, ESPN's scrambling to act like they built it. Oh yes, the same network that used to show Clark's highlights with the enthusiasm of someone watching paint dry now can't stop replaying her latest no-look pass like it's the Zapruder film. Did you see the spin on that? They gasp, as if it's breaking news that Caitlin Clark can ball. This girl didn't just show up to the league, she's rewriting the broadcast script with every game.
In the first quarter where the New York Liberty had an 11-point lead, and Indiana needed her to come out and do that to kind of get back into the game. Her passing was on point. Her scoring. Steph White took her out a little bit more, gave her a little bit more rest than we're accustomed to seeing from Caitlin Clark. She still played 30 minutes in the game, but that she had no rust, had a performance like that, and you could see the joy on her face, especially in that interaction you saw with Breanna Stewart about how happy she was to be back on the floor.
Yeah, missed those 5 games with a quad injury, but definitely looked like she did not miss a step at all. Clark tied her career high for 3-pointers with 7.
And ESPN, they're out here furiously revising their notes like a teacher realizing they marked the wrong student's test all semester. The funniest part? The sudden change in tone. One week it was Caitlin's adjusting to the WNBA speed. Next week, Caitlin Clark is the future of basketball. Oh, really? Was the future unclear when she casually broke NCAA records that had cobwebs on them? Or when she drew more viewers than an NBA playoff game just by existing on the court? They went from let's wait and see to she's the savior of the sport faster than Angel Reese can roll her eyes. And let's talk about the visuals. ESPN went from showing grainy, low-res Clark highlights like they were filmed on a microwave to now blessing her plays with cinematic replays, slow-mo breakdowns, and analysis packages that look like they were edited by Marvel Studios. Suddenly, it's Clark Vision 24/7, with in-depth dissections of her footwork, passing lanes, and even her post-game hair bun like it's a national security briefing. One more game like that, and they'll be airing her grocery runs in 4K. It's like ESPN finally realized that charisma, raw talent, and clutch gene rolled into one player is worth more than their endless scroll of hot takes and clickbait segments. And now they're going all in. Commentators gushing like middle schoolers at a boy band concert, analysts backtracking on every lukewarm take they ever muttered about her being overhyped, and segments now titled, How Clark Changed the Game, like it didn't take them 27 games and a global petition to figure that out.
Back as fans and go, you know, this is wonderful. This is great. We get to watch. We have bleacher seats here, and we get to adore these athletes. Look at Caitlin Clark, how she's kept just taken over the country, and for that matter, maybe the world, and how she's encouraged so many young girls now to participate in sports, whether it's basketball or soccer or volleyball. My dad used to always say, the greatest thing about sports is that you learn so much about real life. You learn how to be unselfish. You learn how to be dedicated. You learn how to work hard. You learn how to win. And then you learn how to pick yourself up off the ground when you lose. And that's what life is all about. And so I just have so much respect for so many of these athletes that come along now. And as a fan, I just love it.
They've even started bringing on guests just to fawn over her. Tell us how amazing Caitlin is, they ask people like it's a therapy session for all the doubters who missed the train. And if anyone dares to challenge the narrative now, oh, they get side-eyed like someone who claps when a plane lands. Because in the church of ESPN, Caitlin Clark is now canonized, Saint 3-Point of Iowa. And while they're frantically building altars and carving her name into the Mount Rushmore of W coverage, Caitlin's just out there hooping like it's Tuesday. She's not asking for praise, she's demanding it with every shot. And the fans, they knew long before ESPN ever stumbled onto the realization. The fans had the receipts, the merch, and the nosebleed seats from Game 1. They've been screaming her name while the big networks were still figuring out how to pronounce Iowa without yawning. Now that Clark's highlights are raking in views, ESPN is using them like Bitcoin. Posting, reposting, remixing, and monetizing like they're trying to pay off their collective guilt. They act like they were rooting for her all along, like those guys who say they knew Bitcoin was a good investment after it hit 60K. We see you.
For Caitlin Clark, this is her first game back in 4 or 5 games after dealing with the quad injury. And she did not disappoint. Came out with 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, almost a triple-double. But 7 3-pointers, y'all. And she was hitting them from 40 feet. Like, she was literally shooting from anywhere, and it was cashing out. In fact, at one point in time, she hit a ridiculous one that Stewie just had to throw her hands up, and they laughed all the way back down the floor because even she knew it was ridiculous.
And the irony? The more ESPN tries to own the narrative, the more obvious it is that they never led the charge. They're just desperately trying to catch up to the momentum Clark created all by herself. She didn't need ESPN to become a sensation. ESPN needed her to stay relevant in the WNBA conversation, especially when every Clark game turned into a trending topic, while their other coverage was pulling in views that could be counted on a parking meter. It's gotten so wild, even their social media accounts are in full Clark PR mode. A simple crossover from her now gets a 3-inch display of her now and a top comment that reads, "She's her." Oh, now she's her? Interesting. Because 2 weeks ago, the same accounts were posting game dunks with more enthusiasm than her 19 assists. And now the narrative's being rewritten. The tone is different, the graphics are glossier, even the lower thirds say things like record-breaking rookie instead of work in progress. ESPN's finally speaking the language fans have been shouting all season. The energy went from cautious optimism to Caitlin Clark, the messiah of the mid-range. They're scheduling her games for primetime slots now. Gone are the random Tuesday 11 a.m. tip-offs when most people are brushing their teeth.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hand the New York Liberty their first loss of the season. If there was any question about how Caitlin Clark was going to perform after 19 days away with the quad injury, she answered them in the first half when she had a 38-second stretch where she hit 3 deep threes. She looked everything that we've come accustomed to watching from Caitlin Clark, whether it was scoring herself. She finished with 32 points on the day, 9 assists, a near triple-double with 8 rebounds as well. The Indiana Fever looking once again like a team that can contend for a championship, scoring 102 points against a very, very good New York Liberty team.
Meanwhile, every former player on air is suddenly on the "we always believed" bandwagon. They're lining up to say they saw this coming, like fortune tellers trying to cash in their predictions. But where were they when she was getting fouled into the third row with no whistle and no respect? Where were they when she was dropping double-doubles and all they could say was, well, it's still early. Now it's nothing but flowers, and Clark's got a garden full of praise she didn't ask for but absolutely earned. But the real kicker? Even now, when she's finally getting the attention she deserves, it's still coming with that ESPN spin, like they discovered her. Like Clark was chilling in a cave somewhere until ESPN descended from Mount Content and brought her to the light. No, Clark is the light. She's been lighting it up. They just finally opened their eyes, squinting into the brilliance like vampires caught at sunrise. So, as ESPN tries to act like this was all part of some master plan, fans everywhere are sipping tea, laughing, and watching Caitlin drop another 30-piece with the casual disdain of someone proving a point. Every 3 she hits now is a subtle "I told you so," and every no-look dime is a reminder that greatness doesn't wait for your permission. It just shows up, steals the spotlight, and makes you regret ever blinking.
You gotta put it in perspective, right? These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this. And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league. There's going to be girls that are offended by that. And there's going to be girls that think she's got to earn it and she doesn't deserve this early. She's handled it great. I think she's performed last year. She's performing again this year. I think she's the rightful face of.
ESPN might be late to the party, but Caitlin Clark is the party. And now that they're here, they better bring snacks, because she's not slowing down. She's just getting started, and this time, they've got no choice but to watch. And just when you thought the chaos had peaked, Rebecca Lobo, yes, the same calm, composed, and diplomatically neutral ESPN analyst who's usually smoother than a jazz sax solo, went full fan mode. This isn't your average shout-out. This is Lobo practically throwing roses at Caitlin Clark's feet like she's the WNBA version of Beyonce, and just hit a buzzer beater wearing heels and sunglasses. Lobo didn't just acknowledge Clark, she basically knighted her on national television. And let's be real, this is wild because Lobo isn't exactly known for being a hype machine. She's not out here tossing compliments around like confetti. If Rebecca says she's never seen a WNBA player do something like this, you better sit down and listen, because that's the WNBA equivalent of Morgan Freeman saying you've got a nice voice. It means something.
Caitlin Clark is undefeated at home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse when she's there cheering on the Indiana Pacers and when the Pacers are in the playoffs. I'm just saying that the Caitlin Clark effect is real, because when she's at Gainbridge and the Pacers are playing in the playoffs, they're winning. They are officially 8-0 in the playoffs when Caitlin Clark shows up to cheer them on. And the way that these full circle moments just keep coming round and round is nothing short of amazing.
And the delivery? Oh, Lobo made it count. No screaming, no drama, just pure awe dripping from every word like a respectful mic drop. It's like someone hit a switch in her brain that unlocked all the superlatives she's been saving since the league started. Suddenly, the tone shifted from rookie watch to basketball prophecy fulfilled, and honestly, it felt like a coronation. Because let's face it, when someone like Lobo, who played the game, lived the grind, wore the bruises, and built the league brick by brick, says she's never seen anything like this, it's not just a compliment. It's a declaration. It's a flashing neon sign that Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's bending the laws of basketball physics. She's turning logic into a spectator sport. Rebecca Lobo has watched decades of talent. She's analyzed the monsters of the paint, the assassins of the arc, the silent killers who let their games do the screaming. She's broken down more footage than a CIA operative. So for her to essentially say this is different. We're not just in the deep end. We're in uncharted waters.
Clark's return, the headline, the Rookie of the Year out since May 26th. What do you expect in her first game back?
Well, first of all, I'm just as excited as everybody else to see her back on the basketball court. She's the most fun player to watch in all of women's basketball. I'm most eager to see her reconnect with Aaliyah Boston. The two players have been playing so well throughout the course of this season. In particular, in that game, Boston had a season-high 27 points, 13 boards in their two-man game. The pick and roll, the way Aaliyah Boston was slipping those screens and Caitlin was able to deliver to her, they were just on another level. Their connection was terrific. I would expect that they'll be able to pick that up pretty quickly in their game against New York again today.
It's not just the scoring, although let's be honest, Clark dropping 30 like it's casual brunch is already enough to spin heads. It's how she's doing it. Logo threes off the dribble with a defender hanging on her like a backpack. And Lobo wasn't even subtle about it. She didn't pepper it with qualifiers or soft disclaimers. There was no "for a rookie" or "in this era" or "under these conditions." Nope, she laid it bare. Caitlin's doing things that are just flat out unprecedented. Even the delivery had that stunned anti-energy, like Lobo was watching her niece absolutely cook everyone at Thanksgiving pickup and was trying to keep it professional, but couldn't hold in the pride. It wasn't just respect, it was reverence. A nod that said, we built this league for you to show up and set it on fire. And while some folks are still trying to gaslight the moment like it's just another good stretch, Rebecca didn't play that game. She didn't hesitate, she didn't hedge, she didn't do that media shuffle where people act cool until the highlight goes viral. She called it now in real time, like a seasoned broadcaster who knows when history's happening in front of her and has the guts to say it. You could see it even in her body language. That rare combo of disbelief and total clarity, like someone who just saw a UFO but has the receipts. She wasn't trying to trend, she wasn't fishing for viral clips. She was just reacting with that raw, unfiltered truth. It was refreshing, it was real.
I know she just got hurt like a couple weeks ago, like she was out, but she came back today and she was wilding. This picture is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even realize her face. I just saved the picture from Twitter, but she's turned up. For someone in their second year and she's doing what she's doing is actually like mind-blowing to me when you put in perspective how kind of young the WNBA is. But shout out to her, yo. My WNBA people, where do you guys think the Fever go this season? Are they going all the way to the finals? Do they even make the playoffs? But is Caitlin Clark the MVP?
And it put every dusty take in the ESPN vault on notice. Because here's the thing, when Rebecca Lobo breaks character and steps out of her measured analyst role to basically go, are y'all seeing this? You know something tectonic is happening. It's like the basketball version of a solar eclipse. It's once-in-a-generation vibes, and Lobo said it plain. Clark isn't just rewriting rookie expectations. She's shredding the whole WNBA script and drawing her own masterpiece in permanent ink. And what makes it sweeter? Lobo didn't say it to build Clark up against anyone else. She didn't have to. The respect stood on its own. It wasn't a comparison contest. It was a moment of genuine admiration, free from agenda, spin, or performative hype. It was just one legend tipping her hat to the newest magician in town. Meanwhile, the rest of the media is sprinting to catch up. Rebecca already called it. Everyone else is still fumbling with their cue cards, wondering when it became socially acceptable to praise Clark without back, but Lobo didn't need permission. She saw the artistry, the dominance, the absurd court IQ, and she put it in plain English. This is something we've never seen before. And now, with every game, Clark just keeps proving the point. Her assists look like optical illusions. Her shot selection is straight disrespectful. Her poise under pressure? Like a surgeon doing open heart surgery while solving a Rubik's Cube with her toes.
During that half, all they were talking about was, late in the game, Caitlin Clark had 25 in the first half. She would hit 6 threes. I think it was up there. I think it was one of the most in a half in WNBA history. And Natasha Howard, Caitlin Clark is wide open, and Natasha Howard looks at her and chooses her own number. And by the way, Natasha Howard in the for the entire game was -15. She was 1 of 4 from the field, albeit she did score in that possession. It's the only possession she scored on the entire game. She looked off Caitlin, and Caitlin just threw her arms up. Is it what you want to see from a player? Of course not. But at the end of the day, it happens.
And Rebecca's not sitting quietly in the corner anymore. She's front row with popcorn, cheering her on with analytical precision. In the history books, these are the moments that age like wine. That one line, never seen a WNBA player do something like this. That becomes part of the highlight montage. That becomes a t-shirt. That becomes the anthem. Because when someone like Lobo puts her legacy weight behind a rising star, the rest of the world has to listen, and at the end of the day, it's poetic. A pioneer of the game, validating the prodigy. Past and present colliding in a flash of brilliance. No gimmicks, no drama, just the purity of basketball evolution, witnessed and acknowledged. Rebecca saw the spark, and instead of guarding the gate, she threw it wide open. She didn't just respect Caitlin Clark, she welcomed her with a standing ovation. And if you thought Clark needed that validation to thrive, think again. She was already flying. Rebecca just happened to be one of the few brave enough to admit we're watching a brand new species of player take over the court live, unfiltered and completely unforgettable.